Thank you for tuning in to leaddeveloper.com, where we simplify complex property development feasibilities, investment analysis, and everything real estate. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our Google Sheets-based feasibility suite streamlines the toughest aspects of real estate. Lead Developer Feasibility Suite is trusted by thousands in over 17 countries. Our tools cover everything from quick assessments to detailed cash flow projections and more. Sign up today at leaddeveloper.com for unlimited free access to our expanding library of real estate tools. No credit card needed. Plus, get full support through Edge with step-by-step guidance, exclusive courses, and resources designed for your success. Turn numbers into narratives that win over investors and lenders. Join Lead Developer now.
All right, let's dive into the world of Aussie real estate, specifically making some cash.
Sounds good to me.
We're taking a deep dive today into your source, how to make money in real estate, one from Edge.
Oh yeah, property investment, right?
You got it. So whether you're, just dreaming about owning a beach house or actually ready to jump in,
I'm ready.
I think this deep dive will have something for everyone.
I think so too.
One thing I found really interesting was how it breaks down the different ways you can buy property down under.
Oh yeah, like what were they? Private sale, auction, and
Tenders.
tenders. That's it.
Yeah, and it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
Each one has its own pros and cons depending on your, your goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Yeah, if you're looking for a bit more control and you really like to do your research, private sales might be the way to go.
Yeah, it seems like a bit more of a back and forth process, right?
Exactly. You can negotiate with the seller, make offers, counter offers.
It's like a real estate showdown.
Yeah, basically. And one thing I really appreciated that the source mentioned
What's that?
was the cooling off period. It gives you a chance to, back out if you have second thoughts.
Oh, that's a nice safety net.
It is, especially if you're a first-time buyer.
Now, auctions, that's a whole other ball game.
Definitely a bit more high energy.
The source made it sound kind of intense.
Oh, yeah. Fast-paced, no minimum bid.
So you could potentially snag an amazing deal.
You could, but you also got to be careful.
Yeah. Do your homework beforehand. Know what the property's actually worth.
Exactly, because once that gavel falls, there's no going back.
No cooling off period there?
Nope. Once it's done, it's done.
Now tenders, those sound even more mysterious.
A little bit, yeah. It's like you're submitting a sealed bid.
So you only get one shot.
One shot, and you have to really think strategically.
Trying to outsmart the competition.
Exactly. And tenders tend to be more common for those higher value properties.
Like commercial real estate.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much your typical starter home.
Now, what I found really interesting is that the source didn't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
They also touched on some less conventional ways to get into the Aussie real estate game.
Like what?
Things like zero deposit loans,
Oh, wow.
deceased estates,
Deceased estates, that's interesting.
lease options, even mortgagee sales.
There's a whole world out there.
There is.
Yeah.
Makes you think outside the box a little bit.
For sure. And speaking of thinking outside the box, the source also dives into the classic buy and hold versus buy and flip strategies.
Ah, yes, the eternal debate.
Right. Buy and hold is like that slow and steady approach.
You're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. Riding the wave of property appreciation.
Like watching a tree grow.
And then you have buy and flip, which is a lot more fast-paced.
More like flipping pancakes.
Haha, exactly.
Yeah.
You're renovating, you're reselling quickly for a profit.
So much faster turnaround.
But obviously both come with their own risks and rewards.
Which the source does a great job of highlighting.
It does. And, if you're dreaming even bigger.
Like building your own real estate empire.
Exactly. The source also explores property development.
That's the ultimate power move.
It is. It's about acquiring land, construction, sales.
So many moving parts.
Definitely requires a lot of careful planning and execution.
You've got to have that vision, that entrepreneurial spirit.
You do. And there are so many different options within property development, too.
Like what?
You could start with vacant land, or you could do a knockdown rebuild.
Or even renovate an existing structure.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
So if you're ready to level up your real estate game,
Mm-hmm.
property development might be the way to go.
It could be.
Now, before we get too carried away,
Right.
the source does offer a quick tip about diversifying your investments.
Oh, that's important.
It is. It mentions things like REITs and Mendes, which are ways to get into real estate without actually buying property.
Interesting. So like alternative income sources.
Exactly. And I think that's a great reminder that
What's that?
knowledge is power when it comes to real estate investing.
Couldn't agree more. The more the better decisions you can make.
Exactly. So keep learning, keep exploring, and stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive.
Can't wait. One thing that really stood out to me from this Edge piece
What's that?
was how it emphasized understanding that the Australian real estate market, it goes up, it goes down.
That's cyclical, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not just this straight line upwards like some people might think.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype.
It is. It is.
But smart investors, they got to remember that what happened in the past doesn't guarantee future success.
Right, right. Past performance isn't everything.
So what are some of the things that can actually influence these market cycles?
Well, the source pointed to a bunch of different factors,
Yeah.
like interest rates, those play a big role.
Of course.
Population growth, that's a big one for Australia.
Makes sense. More people, more demand.
Exactly. And then you've got government policies, even global economic conditions.
Wow. So it's kind of like this whole ecosystem of factors.
It is all these different forces interacting.
So it's not just about finding a property you like. It's about really understanding the market.
You got it. You got to do your research, dig deep.
Look at recent sales data.
Rental yields, vacancy rates.
It's like putting together a puzzle.
It is. It is. You want to see the full picture before you jump in.
Now, I know the source focused a lot on those traditional strategies, buy and hold, buy and flip.
Right.
But it did mention some more unconventional approaches.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Remember rent vesting?
Rent vesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Seems to be gaining traction, especially with younger folks.
Yeah, especially if they can't quite afford to buy in their dream neighborhood just yet.
So the idea is you buy an investment property somewhere more affordable, but you keep renting where you want to live.
You got it. So you're building equity, benefiting from that potential appreciation.
But still living the lifestyle you want.
Right, but of course it comes with its own challenges.
Yeah, I imagine.
You're basically a tenant and a landlord at the same time.
So you got to be organized.
Oh, yeah. Got to understand those landlord responsibilities.
And be ready to handle any issues that come up.
Exactly. It's not exactly passive.
But it could be a really rewarding way to get into the market.
It could be. It could be.
Now, another thing the source touched on, co-living spaces.
Oh, yeah. Those are interesting.
Kind of like a modern take on shared housing.
Yeah, but with more of a focus on community shared experiences.
And the source made it sound like it could be a good opportunity for investors.
Yeah, potentially higher occupancy rates than traditional rentals.
And those shared amenities could help keep costs down.
Right, right. So you're not just providing a roof over someone's head.
You're creating a whole lifestyle.
Exactly. And that's what sets those successful investors apart.
They get it.
They understand what people want, what they need.
And they create spaces that cater to those desires.
Right on. Now, another thing that caught my eye
Tell me.
was that bit about micro-investing in real estate.
Oh, yeah. That's a game changer.
It is. It makes it so much more accessible.
Even if you don't have a ton of cash.
Exactly. You can pool your funds with others, invest in fractional shares of properties.
So you could diversify your portfolio without breaking the bank.
Exactly. And as technology keeps evolving, I think we're going to see even more innovative ways to invest.
It's exciting times.
It is. It is. Now, remember earlier when we talked about property development?
Yeah, the ultimate power move.
I think it deserves a bit more attention. It's where things get really interesting.
Okay, let's dive deeper.
So property development, it's where vision meets execution.
Taking raw potential and turning it into something tangible.
Right. And the source really emphasized that it's a multifaceted process.
Lots of planning, lots of moving parts.
You got it. You got to understand the market, the regulations.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not. You're managing architects, engineers, contractors, financiers.
It's like conducting an orchestra.
It is. And you got to be adaptable.
Because things don't always go according to plan.
Never. Those unexpected challenges, they always pop up.
So you got to be able to pivot, problem solve.
And keep that project moving forward.
Sounds like a combination of vision, planning, and resilience.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
And for those who can pull it off, property development can be incredibly rewarding.
Both financially and personally.
Absolutely. It's like you're creating a legacy.
Leaving your mark on the world.
Beautifully put. And you're contributing to the growth of communities, shaping the places where people live and work.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. It is. But, the source also brought us back down to earth a bit.
How so?
It reminded us that property development, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
It takes time.
It does. It takes significant investment, a long-term perspective.
And you got to be ready for those market ups and downs.
Oh, yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And the ones who succeed, They're the ones who are passionate about it.
Right. They're in it for the long haul. They want to create something of lasting value.
So it's not just about the money.
It's about the satisfaction of bringing a vision to life, contributing to the community.
Now let's shift gears for a minute and talk about risk assessment.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is. The source really emphasized that no investment is completely risk-free.
And real estate, it's no different.
You've got market fluctuations, economic downturns, even changes in government policies.
All those things can impact your investment.
So it's not just about maximizing returns. It's about protecting your capital.
Exactly. And making sure your investments align with your risk tolerance.
Which for some people might be higher, for some people might be lower.
Right. And that's where due diligence comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Before you commit to anything, you got to do your research.
Investigate the property, the market, the legal stuff.
Exactly. It's like being a detective, gathering all the clues.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Oh, yeah. A financial advisor, a seasoned real estate professional.
They can provide those valuable insights.
They can. So it's all about finding that balance.
Between ambition and prudence.
Exactly. You want to take calculated risks, but also protect your investment.
Now, while the source gave us all this great info about strategies and risk, it also reminded us that real estate investing, it's a personal journey.
It is.
You got to align those investment decisions with your own values, your goals, your vision for the future.
It's about more than just making money.
It's about creating a legacy, building something that matters.
Be contributing to those communities where we live.
Now, let's talk about something we haven't really touched on yet.
Okay, what's that?
The emotional side of investing.
Oh, interesting.
We've talked about numbers, we've talked about strategies,
Right.
But at the end of the day, real estate, it's about people.
It is. It's about creating spaces for people to live, work, connect.
So it's not just about profits, it's about making a positive impact.
Exactly. Think about it. You could invest in a property that provides affordable housing for families.
Or a commercial space that helps a small business get off the ground.
Right. And it's not just about the big picture either.
Even those smaller decisions can make a difference.
Absolutely. Imagine you're renovating a rental property. You could use eco-friendly materials, energy-efficient appliances.
Creating a space that's not just comfortable, but sustainable.
Exactly. Those choices might cost a bit more upfront, but in the long run,
they benefit your tenants, they benefit the environment.
Right, and that's the beauty of real estate investing.
You can align your investments with your values.
And make a positive impact on your community.
It's like investing with your heart and your head.
I love that. Now, as we move towards the final part of our deep dive, let's bring this back to you, the listener.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
Different ways to buy, different strategies, risk assessment.
The cycles of the market, the emotional side of
The
investing.
potential to make a real difference.
But the key takeaway here
What's that?
is that knowledge is power.
The more you know, the better decisions you can make.
Exactly. So keep researching, keep learning.
And stay tuned for part 3. Okay, so let's say you've got that inheritance, right? Ready to jump into Aussie real estate.
Time to make some moves.
But there are so many options. Do you go for like a rental property, nice and safe, or something more
Daring.
daring? Yeah, like a development project in some up-and-coming area.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Security versus potential.
Right.
It all comes back to how much risk you're comfortable with and, how long you want to invest for.
True.
That rental unit, it's probably going to give you a steady income,
Yeah, lower risk.
but the growth might be a bit slower.
Whereas that development project, that could be a real home run.
Could be, but it's definitely riskier.
Definitely. So that's where the research comes in, right?
Big time. Got to understand those local market trends.
Vacancy rates, infrastructure plans.
Exactly, all that good stuff.
So if you're someone who's, a bit more cautious, shorter investment time frame,
That rental unit might be the way to go.
your feet wet, start generating some passive income.
Exactly, a nice entry point.
But for someone who's, a bit more of a risk taker,
A dreamer.
wants to make a bigger splash.
That development project might be calling their name.
It's all about having that vision, right? Seeing the potential.
Absolutely, and having a solid plan. You got to have a strategy.
So I'm imagining our listener now,
Yeah.
they're looking at market reports, checking out properties,
Talking to financial advisors.
get everything lined up. It's exciting.
It is. Real estate, it's always changing, always something new to learn.
Speaking of learning, one thing that really stood out from that Edge piece
What's that?
was just how many ways there are to get involved in Aussie real estate.
Oh, yeah, it's not just buying and selling anymore.
Nope. You've got REITs, MICs,
Rent vesting, micro investing.
so many options.
There really is something for everyone.
And let's not forget the emotional side of things.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Real estate, it's not just about the money.
It's about people, creating spaces that make a difference.
Exactly. So for our listener, I hope they remember that.
What's that?
Real estate investing is more than just a financial thing.
It's about creating something meaningful.
Leaving your mark on the world.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to emphasize that one last point from the source.
Okay.
Knowledge, that's your most valuable asset.
Got to do your research.
Exactly. The more you know,
The better decisions you'll make.
you got it. So keep learning, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be talking about your success story.
I love it. Well, that wraps up another deep dive.
It does. It does.
Big thanks to our expert for sharing their insights.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk real estate.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us. Keep those questions coming, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.
See ya then.